I want to talk about a little topic that you guys have fucking no clue on, right? You guys always get this shit wrong. What makes a character top tier? Oh, look, I have a couple of top tiers right here. I got SubZero, I got Cetrion, got these dumb idiots. So let's discuss, right? What is chat saying? To be a top tier player doesn't matter. No, I'm not talking about top tier players. Fuck that. You just got to practice. I'm talking about top tier characters, right? So I know you guys really like the kind of like high end, high level philosophical breakdowns. I don't know if I would consider this a philosophical one. This is more of a strategic video. This is more high end, advanced tactics. And when you guys, I see a lot of people asking, like, what character do I pick or what character is top tier? How do you know? How do you decide? Blah, blah, blah. Really, what it comes down to, like, making a character top tier is results. That's, like, the most important thing. Does the character win a lot? If it doesn't, then it's probably not top tier. The only results that matter are offline results because that removes any kind of random obstacles. What's up, Julapi? The champ's in the house. Look at that. Or the former champ. So, like, you know, online there's the kind of like weird ass you know, there's lag, there's people being in different comfort zones, right? It's easier to play on my couch in my underwear than it is to go to an event and have somebody screaming racial slurs at me. You know, it's a different vibe. And so the one offline play and in high stress competition is what really matters as far as, like, can a character win? But that's not the entirety of it. That's the most important part. But really, when we're talking about top tier, and we're talking about strategic character choices, we're talking about them in game. And what, in my opinion, and this has been proven through fucking decades of fighting games, right? What makes a character top tier is, do they have an I win situation that they can reach very, very easily? And however easily they can get their I win situation determines whether or not they will have an easier time in every match. The more easier times you have in a match, the more favorable matches you have, the more a character is top tier. So when trying to decide if a character is top tier or worth investing time and effort and practice into, you need to first find out what their I win situation is. And then you need to figure out whether or not you can get there. How easy will it be for you to get there against every specific character in the game? And then go from there. That's why I say when people are like, what character do I pick? I said, you pick the character you think is the most cheapest, right? You pick the character that you think is just bullshit. And that's who you should pick. Because there are certain characters whose I win situations and play styles are going to vibe with you better than others. So if you're talking about a game where, you know, the top characters do or perform in functions that you just don't like say it's Injustice 2 and the best characters are really, really hard zoners and you don't like that play style, then that game is just not for you. Okay, you need to recognize that. I don't care how much you like Batman or Scorpion or Kazuya or Link or Ryu. It doesn't matter what game, what fucking genre, or what character. If the meta is not for you, then the meta is not for you, and that's not going to change. So you need to realize that very, very quickly. Also, if you're picking a character and your I win situation is very hard to achieve, you either need to stop being a fanboy and say, hey, like, it's just not happening, and I'm going to go pick a top tier, or you need to just hold that and stop using it as an excuse. Like sitting there saying, oh man, I would have won if I picked the top tier. But you didn't. You didn't pick the top tier. They did, and they won, and they deserve that win, and you don't, because you could have done the same thing. There are no character locks in Mortal Kombat. But when I talk about I win situation, right, let me explain what I mean by an I win situation and show you why, like when you look at some of my tier lists in the past and you look at some other high-level players' tier lists, you know, in the past and going forward, you'll start to understand, right? So we have here two characters that are absolutely, like, top tier. We have SubZero, right, who is considered as at least top 5 in the game right now. And then we have Cetrion, who is considered, like, top 2 or 3. possibly top 1, possibly the best character in the game, right? So we have characters that are both top tier, right? Like if you were to take the top 5, chances are these characters are in it, and you could win any tournament with these 2 characters. But there's obviously a distinction in power level between them, right? There's one that's like, yeah, dude, chances are you're going to fight a million of these getting to top 8. And the other one is, yeah, you'll fight a lot of them, but when you get to top 4, it's this other character you need to worry about. And the reason for that is if you look at their I-win situations, right? Let's look at SubZero's I-win situation. Really, the bullshit with SubZero is this shit, right? That shit, right? This mix-up into this. Right, it's the overhead, it's the low, it's the forward grab. As long as he lands one of those, he can loop you back into that, right? So if I hit the low, I can do that. I can restand you into the grab or dash in and grab, right? And then on your wake up, I can go for that. Boom, boom. Okay, I spent 1 bar and you're already at almost half health. So as long as SubZero can get in here and do this dumb shit, right, he kind of has his I-win situation. That's very hard for a lot of people to deal with. So when you're fighting SubZero, it's like, okay, well, as long as I don't let him get to that I-win situation, he's fine, right? I'll just keep him out, or I'll play the neutral game and outspace those moves. But then he's got, you know, he's got shit like this that is really good in the neutral game. He's got things like that jails almost into this, like that's really good in the neutral, so the neutral is covered, right? He has options in the neutral to get to his I-win situation, right? So maybe I'll play the long range game. Okay, well, he has this shit, and he can duck under your projectiles with that. So even from the long range game, he still has ways to get to his I-win situation. So that means that depending on whether or not your character is better than SubZero at countering his counters in his bad ranges, depends on whether or not that match will be easy for you or for SubZero. And SubZero has a lot of matches where he can do whatever he wants, and when he gets in, he wins, and you can't do anything, and if he gets in, he wins. So that's why, you know, when you look at SubZero versus this, that, and the other character, people will say, yeah, SubZero can beat this character easily, that we can beat this character easily, because he can get to his I-win situation very, very easily and very, very quickly, and it's hard to keep him out of it. And once he gets there, the possibilities of you making the comeback are very, very unlikely, especially if he has you in the corner. Then it's just like, fuck, dude. It's a coin flip whether or not you can escape and fight back. That's why SubZero is considered, you know, in the top 5. But then we take a look at the other top tier character, right? This character, this fucking shit, fuck, bag, fucking, fuck, Jesus, fuck. We really like Cetrion in this house, right? This character's I-win scenario, because she is so safe on everything, because her pressure is so free, because everything resets back into neutral, because everything she does from the neutral resets back into her being safe, and because it doesn't matter where her positioning is on screen or in relation to the corners, she has an escape option that is 100% safe. It means that Cetrion's I-win situation is get a life lead and don't lose it. Like, that's it. If Cetrion hits this and just fucking dodges and evades and does this kind of shit, right, and just does that dumb shit, she's going to win. So Cetrion really just basically, like, she only loses if you get a life lead on her because her damage is so low. She doesn't really have good mix-ups. Her mobility is more evasive than advancing. So, like, she has problems, like, getting in and hurting you. But if she gets a life lead, she can stall out the whole match until you get frustrated and either lose by timeout or lose by just taking a bunch of hits in your impatience. So which do you think is an easier I-win situation, right? The I-win situation for Cetrion is hit them first and then try not to get hit again, right? And if you can, hit them for as much as you can. SubZero's is get in close and then have them either react or guess wrong to a mix-up. So he has to do something, and then once he does that thing, he has to hope that you make a mistake at that thing in perpetuity, right? Over and over and over, right? That's what the mix-up is. That's the SubZero blender, right? So he's got to win the neutral and then keep you mixed, which is, you know, win the neutral is a lot harder than just get a hit, right? Because at the start of a match, Cetrion could just be fucking unga bunga, grab you, boom, boom, you're full screen, and she has the life lead. And now I can backdash, I can teleport, I can do all kinds of fucking just obnoxious shit. So when you're looking at the roster in that perspective of like, what does it take for this character to win? At the end of the day, what is my goal? How easy is it to hit that goal? The characters that have the easier goal are the ones that are going to be considered top tier as far as theory goes, right? Again, the real determining factor is, can people actually do that in competition when the stakes are high and the pressure is on? That's what really matters. But in a world where we live right now, like, offlines are just now starting to open up. We are now a couple of months before CEO, which is the first major after the pandemic. So again, that is a little touch and go and skewed. You kind of have to use online results and what few offlines there were pre-pandemic and, recently. But as far as in-game, in the meta, if you want to know if a character is top tier, figure out what their win condition is, right? Get the win condition, and then determine if it is easy to get there or not. And whichever character has the easiest path to their win condition is the one that's going to be top tier. That's how you figure out which character is top tier. That's how everybody decides on it. It's not like this move beats that. A lot of people try to use matchup charts. Matchup charts are important. They're not that important. A lot of people will say things like, oh, well, SubZero can do this. And if I do this, he can down 4. And if I block this, he could just grab me. You're looking at like small, insignificant situational things that are like a minutia within the matchup, right? Those are just fighting games being fighting games. What you really want to look for is, what does this character do that's fucking bullshit, that is very hard for my opponent to counter? Let me do that. And then if I can do that easily, like if I just have like Jackie, right? Jackie Briggs, right? Once she gets into range to hit 4-3, it's fucking wipe. Dude, it's a wash. You're fucked. You're either going to get lucky on a bad read or an overextension, or she's just going to fucking unga bunga mix you and Jackie you to death, right? And so the balancing thing is, oh, well, she has stumpy arms. She can't really get in, but she has the leap that just fucking leaps in. And it's like, all right, well, fuck your buttons. Let me just jump over all of that shit. And so is Jackie's I win situation hard to achieve? Not really. It's a lot easier than other characters. However, it could be argued that Jackie's I win situation is harder to achieve than Cetrion's. Hence why a lot of people consider Cetrion the best character in the game and Jackie at maybe 2 or 3. You see how you can kind of do that. And a lot of people on YouTube, right? This is more of the philosophy aspect of it. A lot of people on YouTube aren't really looking for guides or advice, and that's not really the content I do on my channel, right? I've always said I have one combo video, right? My guides and tutorials are very, very much different from everybody else's. A lot of the information that I put out is in the beef set matchups, right? So the people that are saying, how come you never do tech videos? It's like, I do. I put the tech in the beef set league matches, so that way you have the context for what is happening, and it explains it because you see it happening in screen in an actual match. But a lot of people won't click on my videos unless I have the black background. Right? So, but if you understand the way I word or the way I do those things, and so what I try to do is I try to put out, not like, people don't want guides, they want instructions, and I'm not going to give you instructions. That's why I don't like doing tier lists. I hope that this video gives you the understanding of fighting games at a deeper level to decide tiers and decide what is strong on your own, instead of going to Sonic Fox's YouTube and just picking whatever character Sonic Fox told you to do. Don't look for instructions. And don't sit there and settle for like content that just gives you instructions, because that won't really help you improve, right? It's teaching you how to fish versus fishing for you. If you go looking for instructions on how to win, you will never win. Okay, you need a guide. And so instead of looking at tier lists, my hope with this video is that in the future, instead of people looking at tier lists and just taking that information verbatim and picking whatever someone like me, the YouTuber, tells you to pick, hopefully you have the information and the knowledge and experience necessary to look at a roster and look at a command list and play a few matches and decide for yourself what you think is top tier, because that's where real legends are built, right? That's where real legends are made. I come from the arcade generation where people were named after their tech, okay? In Marvel vs. Capcom, there was the ROM combo of death, and it's because a guy named ROM invented it, okay? In Street Fighter Alpha, right, there was the ViCC. It was the custom combo that Alex Valle invented. And I am very, very sad that in this day and age, we don't have that. People aren't known for the tech that they discovered. And it's kind of sad because we have better communication now than we did. We're on YouTube, right? I just fucking answered a comment on one of my videos from a dude from Africa. I've never in my ages would have thought I would discuss strategy with an African in fucking Zambia, you know? But if you go to the comments, you look, he fucking talked. He's like, yeah, man, shout outs to the African Mortal Kombat community. I'm like, fuck yeah. There's Africans that play Mortal Kombat and I get to share tech. But yet we don't really share tech in that way, and there's nobody getting known for that because I think it's because people are no longer looking for the tech. They're no longer looking for the clout and the glory of being the guy who makes, or girl, that makes the great discovery. They're looking for instructions on how to win competitions, right? How do I win at the tournament? What character, what combo, what strategy do I need to go to this tournament and wreck somebody? And those are the people that don't win a lot of tournaments. They may win a few, but they will not win them all. The ones that win them all are the ones who can go into a roster, break down that roster, find what is cheap, and find out who can get their cheapness fastest and first, and then dominate the competition because no one ever knew to look for that. It's hit them where they ain't. That's why Sonic Fox wins, because Sonic Fox goes into the roster, finds something super cheap and abusable, determines whether or not that thing is very easy to do in a match or very hard. That's why Sonic Fox dropped D'Vorah. Sonic said D'Vorah's fucking cheap. One of the strongest characters in the game. That shit's really hard to do, though. It's hard to set that up, but if you set it up, you win forever. But it's not easy to set up, and thus people consider D'Vorah to be one of the weaker picks in the game, and that's from the top level players. So I want you guys to stop clicking on tier list content on YouTube, right? Unless it's my tier list. And start thinking for yourselves and creating and finding your own strategies, because nothing, to me, as like a community leader, nothing is more exciting to me when somebody that I taught how to play the game comes in and shows me tech I never thought of. And it's like, wow, you found that on your own. You took my tips on how to find tech, and then you went and found tech that I didn't even think to look for. And that's where champions are made. So hopefully you all stick around, like, comment, and subscribe. And also tell your mom that I want my $50. Like, it's not even funny anymore. Okay, I'm tired of this shit, and it's not fair. It's not fair, and I want my $50.